CRM as a category has come a long way, and marketing automation is one of the component of the CRM category, which has evolved substantially. So, which are the top 10 marketing automation systems in 2024? That's what we are going to discuss in this video. So, let's dive in. Hello everyone, my name is M. Gupta. I am principal at Elevate IQ. Elevate IQ is the independent ERP and digital transformation consulting firm. We help our clients with digital transformation strategy, system selection, change management, as well as implementation. On that note, let's go back to today's topic, which is going to be the top 10 marketing automation systems in 2024. Before we look at the list, let's define the category, how we define marketing automation systems. So in general, this is going to be the bucket inside your CRM systems. This is going to be for your upstream marketing. One of the components that is going to be there is the whole email marketing piece. But at the same time, you are also going to have the SMS marketing or the omni-channel component, which is going to be your CMS integration. So any of the widgets that you are going to embed on your website, regardless of whether you are using the CMS component as part of the marketing automation framework itself, or you are using an external system, you are going to have all of these channels coming through your marketing automation system. Traditionally, all of these systems were very siloed. The CRM's role was primarily the data storage as well as embedding the operational workflow from the downstream marketing perspective. But this was more of the upstream marketing, capturing all of the interaction, tracing the interactions from your web to your mobile to your email to ads. All of these interactions they wanted to track as part of one category. So that's how marketing automation category is evolved. So in this particular case, we are going to capture all of the systems that are going to be present in this market. Sometimes that might be part of the suite where they are going to have all of the CRM components as well, along with the marketing automation, but sometimes they might be best of breed. In general, architecturally speaking, the marketing automation systems are going to have slightly different architecture just because they are doing a little bit of workflow as opposed to do processing the actual transactions that you are going to see in slightly more operational centric CRMs. Also, for marketing automation systems, the integration, the ecosystem matters a lot more in general. And those integrations are going to be slightly easier just because these systems are not necessarily as database driven, as transactionally driven. So it's a very different design, very different mindset, very different architecture. To compile this list, we consider several different criteria. That is going to be your product share acquisition strategy focused on marketing automation. If you are investing a lot in the marketing automation category, then those systems are going to rank higher on this list. The product roadmap, community, ecosystem, win rate, technology strategy, as well as the investors. So these are the factors that we consider for this list. So now let's look at the list. Number 10 on our list is Zoho Marketing Automation. And this is going to be for companies that might be on budget. They are starting on their marketing automation journey. They might not have as much consulting budget. In general, Zoho licensing is much cheaper compared to other marketing automation systems. But for the most part, Zoho is going to be very deeply integrated in itself. The CRM is very rich as well. In general, for the slightly more operationally complex scenarios, if you are going to have very ad hoc needs for your customer interactions where you need to capture a lot of different custom objects, custom workflows, then your Zoho is probably going to be a better fit because it has the similar data model as your Salesforce. But overall, from the marketing automation category perspective, if you look at the core features such as your campaign design, segments, audience, all of these features are going to be there with Zoho. the challenges that you're going to run into with Zoho marketing automation is going to be in those integrations. For example, let's say if you look at some of the data platforms, whether you look at data platforms such as your Zoom Info or any other Apollo, all of these platforms, now what you can do is you can integrate all of these platforms. And whenever you are going to have some sort of intent or any other triggers that you're capturing from the data perspective, and you want to make sure that these leads are coming directly to your CRM, you have all of the interactions, whether it is going to be interactions from your marketing channels or it is going to be slightly more external triggers that is coming from your external databases. So you can automatically capture all of these interactions and get these leads in your CRM. So the only thing you need to do is you simply need to follow up, and after that, and you have the complete history of what they have done. So it simply expedites your sales and marketing processes and going to make it much easier. So for these scenarios, if you look at the integrations of Zoho is not going to be as well integrated with different data platforms. When you are looking for different options, maybe you are using just one data platform or multiple data platforms. So similarly, data platform is just one example, but you are looking at ecosystem integrations, whether you are talking about integrations with many different CMS platforms, then Zoho is going to be slightly limited. They are going to be integrated with their own products, their own bucket that they have, but the external integration is going to be slightly trickier. So overall, the other strength that we have from Zoho marketing automation perspective is your workflow automation and forms. So you are going to have that. Zoho also has Zoho Creator platform, and as part of Zoho Creator, it's very similar platform as your Microsoft. So you can build custom integration, but you are going to have a little bit of cost there in building all of these integrations. And if you're going to develop all of these, then they could get slightly more expensive. From the consulting perspective, you require far more design architecture expertise in managing those integrations. So now the other strength that we have is the journey builder for the omni-channel experiences. That is going to be there with Zoho. The limitations that we have with Zoho marketing automation is ecosystem, again, is not going to be as robust as some of the other comparables, such as your HubSpot. Not necessarily meant to be for the enterprise use cases. The enterprise use cases are going to be slightly thicker. For example, let's say if you look at Salesforce, Pardot, then they are going to have the whole SQL layer that they are exposing on top of your existing data. And then you can augment all of that. So you can do a lot more heavy lifting in terms of the analysis, as well as how you want to target your customer segments. So for those, Zoho marketing automation is not designed. You are also going to run into issues when you are going to look for example, let's say enterprise level security. When you're looking for that, then Zoho marketing automation may not be as great fit. So that's number 10. Now, number 9 on our list is MailChimp. And MailChimp is designed for companies that are looking for slightly simpler CRM. Whether you are going to be in B2C, for B2B, the data model may be slightly trickier to work with. But if you are using MailChimp only for marketing automation, even for those content-centric companies or B2B companies, then MailChimp might be okay. So for the most part, you are going to find all of those capabilities, such as your building audiences, building workflows, doing content-driven journeys, the segments, managing your contacts, all of those capabilities are going to be there. But when you look at the ecosystem integrations, etc., they are not going to be as good as your other platforms. Here, you might be able to develop simple forms. You should be able to integrate with WordPress. But if you're looking for slightly more complicated scenarios in building those journeys, that might not be possible with MailChimp. What you can do, platforms such as your HubSpot. MailChimp is also designed for very startup-centric companies, so you are not going to have all of those security layers that you are going to find with the other platforms. And the customizability is going to be challenging as well. Again, it is designed to be slightly more prescriptive platforms for simple scenarios, not designed for mid-market, upper mid-market, or the enterprise companies. So the strengths that you're looking at, again, those audiences, segments, campaign builder, support, etc., all of that is going to be there with with MailChimp, the limitations that you're looking at, the security layers are not going to be as robust as you are going to find with either HubSpot or your Salesforce, and would require an additional CRM. So again, you might not be able to use this as a CRM unless you are in B2C space and you don't have very complicated customer master or customer journeys, then you might be okay. But for the most part, this is meant to be slightly more marketing automation, and the reporting is going to be substantially limited as well, what you are going to find with the other platforms. So that's number 9. The number 8 on our list is Click Dimensions. And Click Dimensions is in Microsoft Dynamics 365 ecosystem. And for the most part, when you look at mid-market, upper mid-market, enterprise-centric CRMs, Microsoft is going to have one of the largest market share even today. So if you look at the core marketing automation capabilities inside a Microsoft platform, so if you look at the operational capabilities, they are going to be extremely rich. You should be able to accommodate many different business models. You should be able to customize for many different business models. That's where Microsoft Dynamics 365 CE product really shines. But if you look at the upstream marketing, when you want the whole omni-channel traceability across different channels, when you want integration with your CMS, so you're going to have several different CMS platforms as part of Microsoft ecosystem. But when you look at the core marketing automation capabilities, the kind of capabilities that you are going to find inside your HubSpot or Salesforce Pardot, those are not going to be there with Click Dimensions. It's not going to be as rich. It's not going to be as integrated. So the other strength that we have from the Click Dimension perspective is that you are going to have the core marketing automation workflows. They are going to be rich enough for you to be able to manage the tight alignment with Microsoft Dynamics products. So if you are on that, then Click Dimension may be the only choice that might be embedded, integrated, unless you are looking for custom integration, which might be fairly expensive overall to be able to develop, manage. And it is well adopted in the Microsoft ecosystem for even for complex scenarios. So that's a huge plus for companies in Microsoft ecosystem. Now, limitations that you are looking at are going to be very small player compared to the other players. So the R&D dollars that they are going to have are going to be limited. They are not going to have the same capabilities that you are going to find with the likes of HubSpot or Salesforce. The omnichannel capabilities are going to be limited and not natively integrated with data platforms. For example, let's say if you look for integrations with ZoomInfo, Apollo, etc., the integrations might be either limited or they might not be there at all. The first platform most of the companies that are going to adopt are going to be probably HubSpot or Salesforce. The platforms such as your Click Dimensions are probably going to be on a lower priority. So that's going to be a con for this particular system. And that's number 8. Now, number 7 on our list is Microsoft Dynamics 365 Marketing, and they are part of the same bucket as your Click Dimensions. So for the most part, Microsoft 365 Marketing may be a better fit for companies that might not be as heavy on your upstream marketing. They might not be doing as much content-driven journeys. They might not be as heavy in that, or they might be slightly more transactional business. So the only thing they really need is just to build the engagement with the customers, maybe send a bunch of campaigns, nurture campaigns. If that is the scope of the marketing, then Microsoft Dynamics 365 Marketing may not be a bad choice. That is already integrated with the core product. So you don't have to deal with a third-party contract, third-party system. So that's going to be a huge plus. The other strength that we are looking for is the simple customer journeys are going to be okay. The tight embeddedness with the Microsoft stack, that's a huge plus for this product. And the alignment that you are going to find with the CRM product as well as with the field service product, and the field service product that they have, that is going to have a lot of customer facing journeys, especially from the customer service perspective, from the call center perspective. You are probably going to require a lot of those integrations as well as alignment with marketing automation if you need to engage with those touch points as well. So that is going to be a plus. Now, the limitations that you're looking at is when you look at the integrations with your CMS, data platforms, etc. You are going to be limited with those. You are not going to find as many integrations. When you look at social and ad workflows, those might be limited as well. And the whole data model, the user model, and the security model might be slightly more rigid than some of the other platforms that we have on this list, which is going to be a pro as well as a con. Because the from the advantage perspective, if you have very structured data, very relational data as part of your customer master, then you probably would require this. But it might be slightly harder to be able to use the flexibility that you are going to find with systems such as your HubSpot or Salesforce. So that's number 7. Now, number 6 on our list is Active Campaign. An Active Campaign is going to be for companies that are looking for slightly more cheaper option. And in general, the way marketing automation systems are priced, they are going to price based on the number of emails that are subscribed, as well as how many emails you are sending per month. And that's how they are going to price. And sometimes the pricing could be very expensive. When you look at HubSpot or Pardot, they could be very expensive for companies that might be sending a lot of emails, but they might not be selling as expensive product. So that could be a blocker for a lot of companies. And that's where ActiveCampaign has slightly friendlier pricing compared to other platforms. ActiveCampaign is also slightly richer suite compared to your MailChimp. So MailChimp is probably going to have very similar pricing, or maybe MailChimp is probably going to be cheaper than your ActiveCampaign. But for the most part, when you look at the comprehensiveness of the suite, ActiveCampaign is probably going to be slightly richer than your MailChimp. So the other strength that you have from the ActiveCampaign perspective is the core marketing automation workflows. They are going to be part of the suite. The cost is a huge factor, and ActiveCampaign is generally well adopted. For example, let's say if you compare this with your Click Dimensions or Microsoft Dynamics 365 marketing, ActiveCampaign is going to have a lot more installations, at least in the email community, and it's a fairly well-known product. The limitations that you're looking at is it's not going to be as comprehensive as the other options overall in terms of the capabilities. The ecosystem is going to be fairly limited and does not have the true CRM as part of the suite that you are going to find with some of the other products. So that's number 6. Now, number 5 on our list is Klaviyo. And Klaviyo has become extremely popular in recent times, especially for companies that are going to be in a B2C ecosystem. In general, the customer journeys that you are going to have with B2C companies are going to be very different. They are trying to manage the touch points from the purchase cycle perspective, as opposed to driving different touch points during your content. So Klaviyo, if you look at the strength, it's going to be fit from the B2C journey perspective. It's going to be easy to use and implement. They are part of the Shopify ecosystem, very well adopted in that particular ecosystem. So if you're on Shopify and you are slightly more product-centric company and you are commerce-centric company, then Klaviyo may be a better fit for you. The limitations that you're looking at from the Klaviyo perspective is the billing might be trickier, estimating pricing may be trickier as well. So they are pricing based on active profiles or the usage. And sometimes any of the consumption-based pricing is going to be very trickier to estimate in general, even though they are going to claim that they are simply charging based on whatever you are using. So they are pitching that it's probably going to be in your benefit, but it ends up being slightly more complicated, harder to estimate, and sometimes more expensive in general. So the other limitations that we have from Klaviyo's perspective is the segmentation might not be as rich as what you are going to find with some of the other platforms, and it might be expensive if you're sending a lot of emails. So you might need to keep that in mind. Having said that, Klaviyo is still a very strong product, at least for B2C companies. So that's number 5. Now, number 4 on our list is Oracle Eloqua. And this is going to be great for companies that are going to be slightly enterprise in nature, especially if you're going to be on Oracle Cloud CX. So this is going to be part of that. Oracle got this capability. They acquired a very enterprise grade product, Eloqua, and that's how they got this capability. So now this is part of your Oracle marketing bucket. In general, Oracle is very well penetrated into slightly more B2C spaces, for example, media, telco, wherever you are going to have all of these touch points. And Oracle Eloqua is going to be really great for that. Oracle is very strong in the ad-centric journeys, whether you talk about managing the content, etc. So all of those capabilities are going to be part of the same suite. You are going to have those enterprise-grade workflows, whether you are talking about alignment with the field service, call center-centric workflows. So now the other strength that you're looking at from the Oracle Eloqua perspective is the enterprise-grade capabilities, enterprise security, landing pages, etc. are going to be there. The webinars, events. So this is going to be your consolidated upstream marketing strategy that you can track all of your channels, funnels as part of the same bucket. The other strength that you are looking at from these enterprise products is the depth of the custom objects. That is going to be fairly limited with these smaller products. For example, let's say if you compare this with the likes of HubSpot or MailChimp, they are going to be substantially limited with their custom objects as well as the customization capabilities. You will outgrow them fairly fast. So if you're looking for very enterprise grade customizability and you have a lot of custom objects, we see these issues in spaces such as your not-for-profit or university or public sector, service-centric companies. Those tend to be slightly more complex in general with their customer structure. Even if you're going to have very small company, they are generally going to have very complicated customer master as well as journey that they need to manage as part of their marketing automation to be able to capture the interactions and to be able to capture the data in appropriate hierarchy. That becomes very tricky in general with the smaller products. So that's where Oracle Eloqua is going to be a great fit. And pre-integration with your Oracle CX product as well as Cloud ERP suite is going to be a huge benefit for companies that are looking to utilize everything from Oracle's portfolio. The limitations that you are going to run into with Oracle Eloqua is the integration might not be as embedded with the CRM, the embeddedness that you're going to experience with your HubSpot product, because the product was designed from the ground up for both of these scenarios, CRM plus your marketing automation, but their object structure is not as rich. And generally, the object structure for your marketing automation and the operational CRM is going to be slightly different. And that's why marrying these two becomes very tricky. Even with products such as your Salesforce, you are not going to have that alignment. They have done a lot of work in aligning the structure, but that's a design problem in general. And that's why these companies generally struggle in having the aligned structure. So the other limitations that you're looking at from the Oracle Eloqua perspective is the steep learning curve, and it might be slightly more expensive. So that's number 4. Now, number 3 on our list is Adobe Marketo Engage. And this is, again, a very enterprise product. So this is going to be comparable to your Eloqua as well as your Pardot product that you have in the Salesforce portfolio. So here, again, you are looking at very enterprise grade layers when you are looking at consolidating all of your channels, whether you look at your emails, web, ads, all of those channels can be consolidated as part of the same portfolio. You want to trace all of those engagements and you want to trace the customer journeys, etc. That's where your Marketo is going to be a great fit. The strengths that you have is the customizability for your enterprise use cases. And the campaign management program is going to be fairly robust. And then you also have the event partner integration as part of the product. So some products are going to have just the event layer where you might be able to publish your landing pages. You can track your RSVP. But when you combine this with the partners, because partners sometimes are going to play a major role with your event strategy. Sometimes they are helping you with the list. Sometimes you are sort of collaborating with them with the entire event, and that whole piece becomes very tricky. So with your Marketo, that's going to be a huge plus. The limitations that you're looking at is it could be very expensive. The UI is fairly legacy compared to other products and might require coding skills to build the landing pages. With other products, you might not require as much technology background to be able to build that. So they might be slightly easier for marketers to be able to use. So that's number three. Now, number two on our list is Salesforce marketing automation. And this is going to be great for companies that are going to be on Salesforce CRM, but other companies have used this with some of the other CRM products as well. So the strengths that you're looking at is the custom fields that you can create on top of your the core Salesforce objects for your marketing automation purposes. That is going to be one of the huge plus for your Pardot product. The second thing that they have is the whole SQL layer that they have exposed to be able to analyze different scenarios that you want to attack from the segmentation perspective. You are not going to find such granularity with any other products that we have in the market. And that's what makes it slightly more enterprise product. The workflow security that you have, especially when you are going to have very large marketing team and you want to control, because with email, you are going to have issues such as, let's say, if you hire a person who's not going to be as seasoned, and if they send out a campaign, and if that campaign is not vetted enough or they make a mistake, that could be a problem, especially in 2024 where your domain is monitored substantially. So if you're sending from the same domain, it could be a problem in general for your brand, for your domain, and that could be a very expensive mistake in general. And that's where building those approval workflows, the workflow security is going to be super relevant, because you want to limit the access and you want to control the workflows from the marketing automation perspective. And that's where the workflow security of Pardot is going to be very handy, especially for larger companies. The limitations that you are going to run into with your Pardot product is it is not as embedded with your core CRM object. So the integration is very light in general. They have been trying to improve that, but even today, the integration is fairly light. In general, the integration is not as tricky with the marketing automation as well as the CRM products, because once you have the lead from your marketing automation perspective, you can send it to your CRM and then you can track the downstream journey in your CRM product. So you don't necessarily require all of those interactions as part of your operational CRM bucket. But in general, if you have the embeddedness, then you are going to have far more end-to-end traceability. That is probably not going to be there with this product. It's going to feel as if you are playing in two different silos. So that's a huge minus for this particular product. And then it's probably going to be substantially expensive. And then your the learning curve is going to be steep as well. So you are definitely looking at the consulting help. The implementation is going to be expensive as well. So that's number two. Now, number one on our list is HubSpot. And HubSpot was really designed for marketing automation. So this is going to be for companies that are looking for just one product that can do it all. And HubSpot is probably going to be the most adopted, most integrated system across the ecosystem when you are looking at integrating with many different ad platforms or data platforms, whichever are going to be part of that marketing stack. HubSpot is probably going to be the first or second platform from the marketing automation perspective. They are going to have pre-baked integration, etc. And that's a huge plus for marketers when they are trying to experiment, whether you talk about the event strategy or the call center strategy or the customer strategy, and you want to consolidate all of these interactions as part of the same platform. It is probably going to be one of the most adopted in the CMS community as well. So regardless of the type of CMS that you are going to use, whether you use from the HubSpot itself, and they have very rich CMS as part of their bucket as well. If you use that or use something else, but in general, you are probably going to like HubSpot is going to be one of the most adopted. So the other strength that you're looking at from the HubSpot perspective is the ecosystem, the integration with the upstream marketing providers, such as your CMS and data companies. And the CMS is going to be embedded as well, especially if you're using HubSpot CMS. And that could be a huge plus because everything is going to be part of the same system as opposed to using different systems. So now the limitations that you are going to run into with HubSpot is the object structure, the core object structure, especially for the operational scenario, is going to be very weak. And they, in general, the CRM data model, even if you look at Salesforce, the data model is generally not designed for those relational use cases where you are going to require the parent-child relationship, and these parent-child relationship could get very complex in general when you are trying to track those transactions, trying to track the customer master for the complicated industries. And these industries are going to be not-for-profit, public sector, service-centric industries. In general, in those industries, your customer master and the customer interactions are going to be far more hierarchical. The kind of data, the analytics that you're going to need for those industries is going to be very complicated. For those scenarios, HubSpot may not be the best fit because the object model is substantially weak in general. The customizability is not as much, even though they are going to have all of those fancy things such as your webhooks, workflows, custom objects, etc. But when you look at the customizability for complicated operational use cases, that's where HubSpot is going to be substantially limited and not meant for commerce-driven companies from the B2C perspective. So that's going to be another limitation. So that's number one. If you enjoyed this video, we are going to include the link of a detailed article. So you might want to check that. We publish these videos on a weekly basis. So like and subscribe on YouTube. If you prefer audio form, this is also available on Spotify and Google. So you might want to head there and subscribe if you like. And we publish our digital transformation report annually. So if you have not checked our 2024 report, we are going to include the link of that as well. On that note, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one.